Okay, so we're gonna call this meeting to order.
Okay. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that the land upon which our organization stands is unceded Mi'kmaq territory. Epiquik PEI Mi'kmaq is covered by the historic treaties of peace and friendship. We pay our respects to the indigenous Mi'kmaq people who have occupied this land for over 12,000 years, past, present, and future.
Declarations of conflict of interest.
Nope.
Nobody? Approval of agenda.
A second.
You didn't have any additions, John? You thought you might?
I thought I would, but I saw the agenda was quite full. I'll cover it in an email.
So Pam and Gary?
Yes.
Approval of minutes
All in
of,
favor?
That's out there. Approval of minutes. We don't have, did we?
Should that read,
No.
council meeting of January 8th?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry. January 8th, it should indeed. I will change that and send a copy of the agenda to everybody.
I had noticed something on the minutes, I think it was 9B. I'm pretty sure it had Councillor Chapman as moving an item, but I wasn't present.
No?
Otherwise, they look good.
Christmas party.
I saw that, John, I saw that. That's what happens.
No delegation.
IV, financial report.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check. Okay. I will correct that.
And then there was the other one that I had mentioned to you, Ann, it was number 6, around the idea to improve the ball hockey rink. And it wasn't limited, I said to increase access and usability. It wasn't specific around a skating rink. Because
For usability?
yeah, increased usability. Because in actual fact, skating rink is kind of up in the air because I'm not 100% sure we want to do that, given that we don't want to compete with Ocean Acres.
Right.
But
Plus,
looking,
out of the way of flooding either.
yeah, and I was thinking more when I had the conversation with Gary, I was thinking more about expanding use to potentially have roller skating on it, not necessarily ice skating.
Yeah.
So anyways, we'll change that.
So then it will be approved the minutes as amended. And as amended. So we need a new Irish.
I'll move.
All in favor?
Who second?
Call.
Yeah, okay.
All in favor.
You sign. And Gary, you were the chair of the last meeting, so you sign.
Okay.
That's right. Somebody was in the sun.
No,
seems like
so
it
no
just
more in the
over.
iceberg.
Not jealous at all.
2 weeks.
Next year's gonna be a month, if not more. Yeah, that's why I didn't sign yet.
I'll schedule to sign them later.
Okay. I thought that's where I was supposed to sign, but
Just on my toes today.
you've been busy. So no delegations. So business arising from previous meetings, Park and Recreation Committee, Deputy Mayor McCack.
So last month, we spoke about my idea of a Parks and Recreation Committee to look after such things as the name suggests, the soccer field, the basketball nets, making sure things are serviceable and any issues that come up, and anything like that. Beautification, I guess, flowers and stuff, working through Shannon, through Ann. And Kelly was gonna put some thought into being the lead of that committee, and I was wondering if you did made any decision on that, Kelly?
I have no idea what I would do if a soccer net was in
Well,
need of repair.
that's just one example. Well, first you bring it to our attention and say, hey, our soccer nets are messed up, or someone smashed our basketball net, or it's just, I think
And
a
then
lot of
get a
it.
budget going.
Yeah, we could put something in this year budgeting for it, but I mean, I also
A
want.
lot of it, I think, would be feedback she'd get from other people
Yeah.
too, you know.
Yeah. Like they were using the outdoor rink extensively for ball hockey, and I'm hoping that's gonna come back if they can get somebody. And you would be sort of the lead contact of, make sure it's,
So who does Chris talk to now? You?
it's just, and I think not just the sports aspect, but also the, our parks, the Railhead Park, and, community gardens, and that, this whole area here, and the dog parks, and whatever else is gonna be developed over here, right? I think we just need someone that, other than Shannon going doing this and that, correlate with Shannon and Ann, Shannon reports to Ann, and getting feedback from the people that use it, eh? I don't know, there's no dog description, no dog description, dog description. Yes.
Sean,
There is a dog park.
Basically that.
And I think historically, Gary, Parks and Recreation Group was back when Carol was on council, and it was actually fundraising.
Parks and Recreation was fundraising.
Because it was parks and beautification. And then it went to, the beautification part became the fundraising part, and then it just became fundraising, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got fundraising with Paul.
Yeah.
Nobody can beat the job he's doing there. There's also the outdoor equipment, the children's equipment and
Yes,
adult
here.
equipment, exercise equipment. There's a fisherman's memorial down at the wharf. There's so much to keep an eye on. It's just some vandalism, hopefully never, but might need some attention there. And the Heritage Park right here in Bell, other things that are gonna come. So there's always little satellite things going on as well, that I think, in my opinion, rather than me having just, looking at all that stuff, I'd rather concentrate on my capital projects, infrastructure maintenance and budgeting, rather than now these things are out there and if they're working, I'd like someone else to look after them, It's just,
Or there to be some kind of function, right, that's kind of funneling,
And you could bring
it sounds like a
questions
maintenance function.
to council too.
But-
It's not like you have
But
to
outside.
physically do it yourself, you know what I mean?
No.
I mean, I think if it was something like soccer net, there was a hole in it or something, bring it to either Ann or to Shannon, we'd get it fixed.
or
Unless you know
you can mend the fisherman.
Find a
fisherman's
fish.
net.
Like you
And ideas, maybe, someone will say, well, we need a bench or another bench, here or there or something, eh? Like, or
I'll give it a try.
I think that'd be good to get you involved in it and be that key person. I think everybody on council, you know, would benefit by having
Can
to
you
do
and
it.
Susanna for a walk?
Oh, we do lots. We keep an eye on the dog park for sure.
Yeah.
And we walk around this park.
Okay.
They can be on patrol
They
now.
are.
Paw Patrol.
They love it.
Now their role is official. They're on the committee.
Well, I think that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Effective immediately. Thank
You're
you.
looking to hand out.
Anything possible. No, it's not that, it's just, no, it's good.
Better oversight.
So is that for Parks and Rec?
Yep.
Okay. Canadian postcards.
We won't hear anything until spring, so
So
likely
it's-
May, so it'll just sit there until here.
Okay. Is there a time in May or?
No,
No.
it could be May, it could be June, they
Oh,
just said
okay.
spring 2025, and then
Okay.
they'll discuss it further,
Okay.
depends on their funding.
Rental rates, Councillor Chapman and Ann.
Yeah, I can speak to this if you want, Ann. Sure. Can jump in where I missed, but yeah, so Ann and I have been back and forth a little bit about this. So my approach has been, Ann gave me 3 years of financials on the rentals. And so I've been doing an analysis on that that I'll share with everybody, just to see what have we been actually doing, right? How have we been applying those rates to different groups? And then more specifically in regard to the drop-in fee, I thought it might be helpful for us to reach out to other communities and just kind of get a baseline of what some of the other groups are doing and if they're running into similar, issues. So Anne was helping me with that. She sent out a note through the Federation, but we got very little kind of input that way on that piece. And I would say that's really where we're at. I was thinking, I had mentioned to Anne that I'm certainly comfortable to just reach out to a few communities myself and ask some questions to see if there's any wisdom to be gained there. And that would be my next step. And then just to take all that information back here so we can use it to make decisions.
Yeah, I can reach out to your CAOs.
Okay.
About that.
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with.
You had suggested a few communities specific.
I was just thinking like size,
Yeah.
like comparable municipalities in terms of facilities and size and that kind of thing. And not a lot of questions, but just to see if there's, like I said, anything else tried and true out there.
Yeah,
We might want.
when we reached out to the Federation, they sent it out to all the communities, and the only one that responded for no nonprofit was Summerside, and it was 1995.
Well, actually, the administrator from Federation, I think, just went and pulled that off the website, and it was a policy in 1925. And then the resort community did respond, but it wasn't relatable, like how they were using their facilities. So they could be on our list to check in with, So that's where that's at, and my understanding was that we were really looking to want to make a decision for a budget. So if we were making a change, that it would be established for the next fiscal, so that's what I'm working towards.
So this involves not just the drop-in rate, but the whole
Well,
$3
no,
versus $2
the other question was, when and to whom do we provide the space for free or at a discount? So that's one question, so I'm looking at how we've been applying that in the past. And then the other question is, are we increasing our drop-in rate and what's the rationale?
Because the rental rates themselves have been reviewed,
Yeah,
and were
it's
increased
just,
in 2024.
who are we calling,
Yeah,
basically, right? Who falls into that?
who falls into the no charge other than
So
funerals?
are we charging $3, $3 a head now for anything?
No.
That's not happening?
That's what we're reviewing.
That's what's
That's what
decided,
you're reviewing now.
it's the two things.
And will be effective April 1.
Yeah, whatever the
Yeah.
decisions
Okay.
are made in March, so we'll be making the decision and
Great.
to go into.
Okay. Good. All right,
Correspondence.
Oh, no, we got
Oh.
the delegations. So this came from delegations of last month's minutes. Mariners Lane, I was to find out if it's a proper road or a private lane. And I spoke to Colette at Roads and Maintenance. The province looks after about 40 meters of Mariners Lane. After that, she's not sure if it just peters out, or if it's not paved, or if it's not strong enough to support a grader. Is it?
Strong enough to support it.
So, she said if we needed more information, she would have to, either escalate it or send out a survey crew to, I don't know if there's anything past 40 meters on Mariners Lane.
There isn't, I don't believe, is there?
It used to be the access for the fish plant.
For the fish
But
plant,
since they
yeah.
torn that down, it's unused.
well, even before that,
But that could have been private, right?
it was,
It was,
Gary Gormley lived right there,
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Right in behind.
Gary
That's
Gormley
where
and then
they
the plant,
They
the
plow.
plant. And he ended up, he bought all that land there, right?
I expect they had it going right to the edge of Gary Gormley's property.
Oh, yes,
So 40
oh,
meters,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that was it. Yeah, service him.
But when house was there, the big house was there.
the big house, yeah, but that wasn't nobody lived in that. Like, when was the last time people lived in that hall? Would there be the 80s? I don't know if it went into the 80s, would it? Be in the 70s,
No.
I'm thinking.
What's the big house? Is it not there?
Come on.
No, it burned down.
Oh, okay. So
Right,
Graham has a lot of fires and stuff.
Yeah, I was at that.
They're accidental.
That one was an accidental.
Kelly's got a question.
Who owns that?
Who owns the land? The guy from the river across from the,
Senior, Tim.
yeah,
See, this house is for sale.
yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he was selling it all, wasn't he? That's what I
Yeah, I see
heard.
the
Yeah.
cars there now, I don't know if he's home or what.
I think we need to give Stephen an answer, but so it's first 40 meters, Stephen feels something else is different. So we're a little different.
I can tell them that.
Because I know years ago, they never plowed that. That was it up, if anything, they go in behind Lawrence. But I don't even remember the plowing Lawrence, to be honest with you.
They just go in along
Yeah.
Stephen's place there and and they sometimes leave the middle
Oh,
with
yeah.
snow and
Yeah.
the center.
Yeah.
We have a new snowplow operator now too, so might get as much from him as we did.
Well, we're getting what we were getting, they weren't gonna do this.
So weren't they?
Talked to them about it. Said I'll keep doing it.
Okay, that's good.
He had first come up and asked me about it one morning, when I was up here blowing along the fence line and that, and he said to me, he said, I don't know. He said, if I'm supposed to do this or not, and I said, well, it always was done by Bob. And he said, well, I said, I just keep doing it until somebody complains,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
he said, I'll just keep doing it. So we on to delegation.
Oh,
No,
no, correspondence.
We're done with that, aren't we? To correspondence.
In your package, you got a copy of this correspondence from the QPW post office. And they're seeking input for expanding services, and they want a motion from council. So I was hoping that you guys read the motion, and if you're willing to make the motion or not willing to make the motion.
Can you give us I read a bit of it, honestly, I didn't read it all, but what kind of motion do they want us to pass? What, is it that whole page?
This
Is that the
is the
motion?
motion.
Oh, boy. We have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Is there a certain timeline?
May, only has until May 15th to submit its final report.
So is this revolving around the strike? And that now they want some type of civic movement on?
I believe as part of the strike, they may be, like, to be honest, I didn't really understand the whole thing. They're trying to put a stop to post office closures. So like small villages like ours, so that we don't maybe now have to go to Murray River to get our mail.
And
It's the flexibility to close more than 130, but those are the corporate retail offices, which doesn't really affect us. So,
so who is they? Cupid?
Yeah, copy that.
W.
Yeah.
Postal Record. And they want this industrial inquiry commission reviewing Canada Post. I couldn't vote on that. I don't really know what it's about, just until I read a bit more about it myself.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about the timeline.
yeah,
If we
I noticed it was several
Takes
pages
some more
long,
time.
that's for sure.
When does this gotta be done by, you say?
Okay.
Today.
yeah, so they have to have it, their final report submitted May 15th and make recommendations.
What accountability do we have to cut the leak?
Really?
Or to,
Yeah,
use it to keep
so,
our post
I mean-
office open? Yeah, that's the
It's
question.
much bigger than that.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if council's not wanting to submit it, that's the end of it.
Sounds simple.
So, I mean, yeah, it's simple.
You have another question?
No, I was just voting in favor.
So,
Kelly, you
Not
don't sound so sure.
I don't.
Yeah, but you wanna make sure it's not gonna affect the rural post office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that affects everybody right there. All our people run into post
They're
office.
getting paid too much anyway, Caleb, folks.
That's a good,
The service we've been getting. is a
we'll
joke.
go again next month.
Yeah,
We'll
did
have
you
a
guys-
chance to-
I would like another chance.
Yeah.
if you guys want to,
Let's read
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, we'll go through it.
at your leisure,
Yeah.
Defer to Jan.
and,
The first one next week, anyway.
Yeah, it's just,
I don't know those are post office, but I think the service could pick up a little. It seemed to
I
be
just
more
feel
straight.
bad. From 11 o'clock in the morning, Debbie's just sitting there reading her book.
Well, that's where.
I'm
the
not talking
minutes-
here though, it's my problem,
Service
my issue,
come
is
in.
mine's with Canada Post.
But in the
As a whole.
summertime.
As a whole,
that's when people are here, she's hopping over there.
Yeah.
And
The thing to do is, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what's really important to remember too, and this is just my personal opinion, okay? We are talking about a crown corporation that is billions of dollars in debt. And we have a union that's asking us to support them and not changing a single thing, basically.
But they
And I-
want to enhance, not change.
No,
It says right there, enhance.
I know that. There's lovely words on the page. I did read it all.
I read it.
There are lovely words here, but the thing of it is that as a business, we look at Canada Post as a business, their current model doesn't work. And enhancing services is not going to be enough to keep them viable. They need an overhaul of how they do business.
They didn't have that, but I think if you cut the services, especially for our workers, our Mexican workers that are here and using that post office as a way to send money home to their families, if you cut that, where are they going on Saturday morning? Somebody's gonna have to drive them.
Okay, I'm not talking about in our small community.
But
We could have the conversation about our small community, but we are talking, this is much bigger than our community. They are asking us to support their union,
Yes.
not Murray Harbour Post
But
Office.
every post office is part of it.
I agree. I agree. And while I can fundamentally agree with everything that you say right now, Kelly, I get it. I agree with you. But as a whole, can I support that?
No.
I don't think so. As a whole corporation, no, they gotta do something different. Because what they're currently doing is putting billions of dollars in debt, and you and I are paying for it through our tax dollars.
So what are we gonna
Billions.
have instead?
I'm not saying we're even gonna lose our post
You
office.
probably ain't gonna lose nothing. This is just to support them and their fights against government, right? That's all that is. Trust me. Our little
I think
squeaky
we
wheels
should read
Take
don't
another
need
read.
nothing. The big cause. If they wanted to take that tomorrow, they take it. Trust me. They already pulled the bank out of the river on us.
That's, yeah.
You know,
That's
it's no different.
Not government, yeah.
Okay, so everybody's gonna read that,
Yeah.
and I'll put it back on the agenda.
Yeah.
And then just today, I emailed it to everybody, but you may not have seen it. Minister Myers has sent us a letter, consultation and engagement on the Municipal Government Act regulations. I did send a copy of the letter. A consultation and public engagement of the PEI Municipal Government Act beginning February 25. The review is a critical initiative to ensure the Act continues to provide strong framework for municipal governments, fostering sustainable and resilient municipalities across the province. The process will include municipal interviews, open houses, stakeholder consultations, public survey, and written submissions. So the letter was just basically a heads up. So I did email it to you earlier today.
So more details to come?
More to come, I guess, as he will be talking about open houses, 5 public meetings across the province. I'm not sure.
Is this like
What's
a
this?
mandatory 5-year review cycle that's on this thing, or
I
first time ever been reviewed, or, you know?
I think this is the first time this MGA has been reviewed. Because there was a big overhaul before I even started here. I can't remember when, and they tweak it, but this is a big overhaul.
How long have you been hearing it?
Since August 2020.
We got a 5-year pin for her?
Yeah. Make a note, August.
I think I've surpassed a few of the former CAOs,
Sure you have.
but nothing like Jill. She was, is it Jill?
Eric.
Jill. Somebody was here for
Yeah, Jill Harris was also another Jill here.
Yeah. They lasted years.
She used to be the CAO in Three Rivers.
Oh,
And
right.
she left.
Oh, yeah.
So you're either crazy or heavily medicated.
Y'all think it's tea.
So, I guess we're on the CAO report.
So the only really big thing on an update was the Battle of the Sign.
The battle what?
The Battle of the Sign.
Oh,
It broke in November,
Oh, right, yeah.
and I was going back and forth between Watchfire, the manufacturer, Gemini Signs, the distributor, and Carlos from Signal Solutions. Watchfire was pointing at Carlos. Carlos was saying, not possible. Gemini was going, what? So I got hold of the owner of Gemini Signs and loudly complained that I thought his salesman was lying to me and giving me the runaround, and that we had a municipal sign that was used for various purposes, including if there's a weather event or the warming center. So he said he'd look into it. The next day, I got a call, the part was ordered, it was gonna be here, and by Tuesday, the sign was fixed. Awesome. Next day, I got a bill for $3,000.
So.
So they're very quick.
Totally
Next day, because I come in and she said to me, that was quick.
Yeah, the next day. So I called Dusty again and I said, not acceptable. The runaround that we got, your salesman not being truthful. I suggested paying a third of the cost of the radio and that we would also pay for the installation and the rental of the boom truck. But are we paying $3,000? That is absolutely insane.
Yes, is it, I was gonna say insured, is it under any kind of guarantee?
It should be under warranty, but this is where Watchfire is saying, no, Signal Solutions tied in something and voided our warranty. And Carlos is saying, absolutely not. So,
What else trying to go?
Nobody-
I know,
Warranties basically
I
saying
have-
that.
I have
Somebody
2
touched
pages
it,
of
we're not
notes
paying.
dealing with this issue. So I'll keep you up to date on that. I just don't think it's, I can't believe they sent an invoice for $3,000 after.
So did he know that? Like, did he send that himself?
No, that would have been sent by the receptionist, so,
That was the very next day.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
so I don't know
That's snapping.
if Mark, the salesman, authorized that, but I did call and speak directly to Dusty and basically said, are you on your ever loving line? And that we're not paying it. So he hasn't called me back on that.
Just gotta think about it.
Don't say it.
No.
Other than that, community fridge, the balance is about the same, a couple of invoices have come for that, so it might be maybe $3,000. Terry, you wanted the fridge, I'm not sure that fridge you're thinking of will fit in there.
Okay, okay.
You'll need to measure,
okay.
and I did see about 5 monks in there this afternoon,
I seen
and I
a
think they
post
were,
on there,
I
but,
think they were going to drop off, but
they did,
oh, they did?
I think they did, there's
Okay.
pictures on Facebook of the dropping off.
Okay.
You always take your pictures.
I was just like,
Yeah.
what the heck's going on in there?
I mean, they do wonderful things, but they always have to capture the moment.
So,
Could I just make a comment with the fridge, or is it on our agenda?
well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, just that I've been in there several times and Jill over the last months, 5, 6 weeks, and it's been empty.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
surprised
there were
myself.
supposed to be people in charge of it when I was away. So when I was away for 2 weeks, when I come back, I got right into traps. Part of it was my fault too, when I come back, but, it can't be just 1 or 2 people doing it. I mean, there's a bunch of us there to do it, and it's gotta be taken care of. I did see on the post that there is more going in. They're gonna restock tomorrow.
Who's
I went
doing
and got
that?
hamburger.
Who's restocking tomorrow?
I'd have to look at my phone call. I think it was,
Our group, like?
yeah, it was in their group, yeah.
Okay.
Ann Hawkins did say she wasn't putting any meat out in the freezer because it was acting up.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe.
Well, there was none left anyway. It was all gone down below when I went down.
Okay.
It was empty. There was no hamburger, so I got 20 pounds of hamburger. And I got, what was it, 6 or 7 packs of sandwich meats. And I put a couple of hamburger out here in the freezer and a couple of sandwich meats and put some stuff out. Me and Margaret did. Or Margaret helped me get the stuff out and then I put it in.
If you, the fridge is completely empty for you, if you guys decide that you want to use it. Like Ann said, you'll have to take a measurement first. And the other thing is, it'll need to be cleaned, Terry. It's just disgusting.
Well, all I'm looking at is a backup right for over there.
Well, we were wondering if that fridge is acting up, maybe you just wanna take this one and put take that one downstairs as a backup if it's acting
Yeah.
up. And the only reason why I say that is the one that you would be taking out there is old. So it's more likely to keep running because it's
Well, that's
old.
what I'm thinking too, right? The old
Yeah.
ones work better in
Yeah.
cold weather.
So
Where the
you might
newer
wanna
ones,
try
They
it.
gotta be room temperature, they don't
Yeah.
work.
Is that why this one's acting up?
That's what
It's
it's
for
acting up, yeah.
But I mean, it's entirely
And
up
that's
to
a
you
brand
guys.
new fridge, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's never worked from day
It
one.
never worked right
In there because of.
And that was from.
for a while until the temperature either drops
Okay.
or it gets too hot.
And think we should go back to them and tell them
They're not gonna do
they're
it.
not gonna do
They
it.
donated or?
They're like the ones she was dealing with.
Yeah.
On the last,
Yeah.
They took the
You'll
other
get the
one back,
runaround.
plugged it in at
You're
one
not-
time,
you're not gonna get nothing.
so it's the environment it's in.
See, that's the problem too, and Ann and I found it yesterday, I didn't know there was such a thing. Apparently there is such a thing as a garage fridge.
Yep.
And so it's meant for the temperature fluctuations, but for the fun of it, we were looking today, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking like $2,000 to buy a fridge that can withstand those temperature fluctuations, which is why we're thinking that maybe the old fridge might work better.
That's what I was thinking too.
I mean, if you wanna try it,
Yeah,
and
We'll have
just
to
bring
see
that
if it
other one
fits
down.
first.
Yeah, I have to see if it fits.
I'll take a measurement of it tomorrow and say,
Yeah,
So that,
but it's empty for you if you want it.
okay.
that balance of $3,000, that's available for your crew to buy food?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the last of our funding?
That's the last of that funding now. I gotta get hold of them to find out if there's more funding, because I was told that that's gonna happen every year. Now, she was told differently, but,
I was told it was one time in the letter.
okay. No, I can't say names, but I was told that it was gonna last, it was gonna happen again,
Mhm.
so.
I mean, what use is a one-time wonder?
Well, that's the thing, that's what the person that mentioned it to me said, it's gonna come out again, because she said. So I just didn't realize that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because it was bleak in there. Sometimes I was in.
Yeah. Well, I keep up on the hamburger and the sandwich meats and that, and I let the girls take care of the can and all that stuff. Cause they're gonna go pick it up at Pool's Corner, right? That's, from Johnny Blaisdell, who we'll get from. And it's, I don't know, we get 20 pounds for $120. I mean, that's a reasonable price. That's packaged, ready to go. You know, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go get it at the grocery store, but
This is the guy just to the right.
Yeah.
corner there.
yeah, I just figured keeping it local, as local as we can, you know.
Any questions on the CAO report?
I had a question, and if this is gonna sideline, let's just say so, but I think 2 or 3 months ago, we approved some additional IT support for the office here. I was just wondering how that's going.
Oh,
Yeah.
really good. As I said to Gary, I've yet to receive an invoice from Darcy. He's been in a couple times to straighten things out.
Son-in-laws.
And it's been really beneficial. We had problems, Margaret couldn't get the bills out. I had problems where some add-on came in and was flashing warning, you're gonna explode. So he came and he sorted that out.
Good.
It's things like, every day here, I'll come in and there's something. My printer is packed up, or there's been an update and it's booted something off of somewhere, so it's very helpful.
Well, I will love them to get you
Yeah.
guys an invoice.
Yeah.
Versus doing it gratis.
Yeah, no, and then I guess in April, March or April, will we need to discuss about,
Yeah, for our fiscal year, we should look at that, is it something you want permanent to budget, and then we can put it out as a request for proposal, right?
do we have to if it's?
Depends on the.
I don't know.
Yes.
I think we should in this case. In this case, we should,
Never,
yeah.
never.
I don't think it has, definitely has to go out as a general call. It's, but I don't think
What
it's an
what did
RFP.
we do for, Mark?
It was just
Sewer
a general
utility.
call that went out.
In the advertisement.
We put it on the electronic sign,
That was it?
And on the website.
and, well, originally Margaret and Mark had helped out with the election. And just through talking, I said we were looking for somebody to do sewage utility. She said, I'll do it. And then
But we agreed to let it go for a trial
I think
period.
you were still mayor at that time, so I talked to Paul, and he said, yeah, let's give it a go. And then when it was March and we were looking to put it in place, that was the new council and.
It's not me.
Doesn't
Mark
have to go
came on
far.
since I.
No, but it needs
But it
to,
needs to be out there.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
else in the bush.
She only been here
Well,
for
it
a
was-
little over a year, because you were doing both. when
Yeah,
you
but
came.
it was during the election that I talked to her, so you guys would have come in.
yeah, it was since I've been here.
This is
Okay,
to
so
protect Gary.
RFQ is the wrong one.
Yeah,
This is to protect Gary from all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
charges.
Actually, and I think it's to protect the community too, so it doesn't look like favoritism either.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why we did it with Margaret as well, right?
Yeah.
She came in and did it for a few months. And then we said, okay, she's doing really great, but we have to put it out to the wider
Yeah.
so that's what I mean, do we need to put it into like a proper RF, whatever? Or can I put it on the electronic sign,
I
looking
would
for
do it.
IT support?
Because I
would
think
do
you
the
did
same
that with
thing.
lawn mowing or something else, didn't you? Or some
Yeah.
maintenance thing? Or snow.
That was for
removal?
snow removal.
Yeah, so I think it's.
That was
There's a
just all
sign,
we know.
that's where I
Do the
go.
same thing we've done every other time.
Yeah,
It'll go in the newsletter, yeah, for
not
sure.
gonna,
Cause there, and I got crickets of those.
Or,
Yeah.
Mhm.
If Darcy is in charge now, we should put the thank you on that.
Well, he will.
Well,
We need them to charge us, so we
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
much it costs.
Yeah,
yeah,
because the other thing, just back to the IT piece and getting something in the budget, like, my understanding from our initial conversation is like, maybe we need somebody to tell if there should be upgrades to the system, like, that kind of thing too, like, how are we planning?
well, we
for-
just upgraded the computers,
Okay,
so.
okay, good.
But you're right, infrastructure maintenance includes
Okay.
software.
I think we should
Yeah.
keep the IT anyway,
Yeah.
because you're gonna,
It should be there.
Okay,
it's convenient to have them coming where you're not waiting for other ones.
yeah.
Well, and the thing of it is I've seen firsthand coming over and working with Ann before we had IT support, and even me being on her laptop and totally frustrated, and the lack of productivity while you're trying to fix everything.
Yeah.
is
Well,
just
and
really-
that's what I was remembering, like, anyway, that's why I was wondering, if we needed better systems.
All right, we're gonna
Anything
move,
on the cash flow report, questions? Loan balances are slowly coming down.
Did you put in that new line? Number US, but,
to remove the,
No, we removed.
remove the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I did
Okay.
remove it.
The renovation.
yeah. What's it called?
Rural growth
Rural,
initiative.
RGI.
Great.
Rural growth.
Great, so if you have questions, member Shaker?
I move it. Approve it.
all in favor?
So is that grant money in there? And the
No.
truck line, that is not for the renovation?
No, we took it out.
Yeah.
Because it was
all
too
in
confusing.
favor, yes.
Boards and committees. There, okay.
Okay, the first three are mine, and usually is no particular order, but about the committees, just moving back for a minute. Do we have to pass a resolution for the new Parks and Recreation Committee with Kelly as the lead, or can that just be done? We need a resolution to create that committee, you know?
I don't know.
maybe check into it.
Yeah.
We can handle it next month.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would think this is an opportunity to tell everybody that we had our first budget meeting this morning. Terry, Marlene, myself, of course, and who else was there? Oh, and of course, Anne's there, always there.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah, and it was very preliminary, just looking at where we were at the end of February with all of our various general ledger items. Just starting to look at the numbers. We're gonna meet every week now. In our next meeting, council meeting in March, we will present that budget to everyone here. But you're more than welcome to come. Next Wednesday is our next meeting here at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're more than welcome, obviously, to sit in. Our committee will be meeting that day. And we'll get it, every week we meet, we'll refine it, we'll look at this, we'll debate that, we'll discuss this and get to where we hope it's presentable and acceptable. So the process will be, I'll present it on the March meeting. We'll wait 2 weeks, the standard time for the public to look at it. It'll be made available online and made available in here if they want to come in and look at it in here for 2 weeks. And then we'll have a special meeting where we will hopefully convince you to pass it, vote on it and pass it. And then Anne will submit it by the end of March and we will go. A few highlights already is that there's no more repayment of gas tax. That is done, finally. Good. Yeah, which is a nice thing. Our solar panel saved us $5,000 last year on the roof, which is very fantastic. So those 2 items alone is $10,000 over a year. That's big money for a small community such as this. It's 5% of their budget.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. Don't even ask me about property tax and stuff, if we're gonna up it or down it or leave it alone, but we haven't got to that point yet. Tax roll is not out yet. Our transfer payments from the government number is not out yet, so there's lots of data we don't have to really grasp what we're gonna do. But as committees, let's include the Park and Recreation. Let me know. Do you need, typically we put in $500 per committee for whatever. But try to put a bit more thought into it and let me know by next week. If Paul, do you need $1,000? Do you think we need $1,000 for Park and Recreation or for the EMO? Let me know. This is the time, the budget's here now to put that in there. Okay? Capital budgeting. We're still waiting for clarification, I guess, Ann, on some of the capital investment plans we put in.
No, the one was approved.
The one for the front was approved, correct?
Yeah, for the sanitary.
Lighting and walkway. The one for over here has been declined.
So then we're gonna need to come up with new project
Yeah,
ideas.
some new projects, yeah. And I've got, these are all, I think I've captured them all the ideas that we looked at, asking people to give us ideas. Well, most of them are not applicable to capital, like buying land or there's only certain things you can do with this capital, right? I'm gonna run through them real quick. In no detail, no particular order of priority, and I'm not gonna say who they're from. Larger trees for sunshade. Expand existing rinks. Cover the rinks to serve as a sun, rain, shade area. Finish the rest of the fishing shack. To look and paint the doors. More seating and benches, umbrellas, pergolas built over the memorial garden. Bridge boxes, hanging flower pots. You can see a lot of the stuff is not. More picnic tables. The land behind Stephen Bell's building was purchased. Parkland purchased land. No, can't purchase land with that money. Another building for pickleball. Wellhead community garden. Capacity building from Councilor Chapman, which is a serious one. I think definitely worthwhile to investigate further. Finer gravel in the dog park entrance. I mean, that's a small maintenance item. It's a yard of pea gravel.
And it's maintenance, it
And it's
doesn't
maintenance,
qualify.
Replacement of the lagoon. There's a big one, right? And that's another thing, the sewage utility. We'll get to that in a moment. Replacement heat pump for the basement. Rental of 10, this is Stephen Bell, and he deserves an answer. It's rental of the 10 Mariners Lane by the village. For our use when you were away, our last meeting here, he was here and he suggested he could make available to the village 3,000 square feet of his building at a rental rate that, to negotiated, of course, as an idea for us to make money, generate revenue. I don't have the expertise to put people in there on a regular basis to make us money, to try to cover I don't know, $500 a month. I have no idea what the rental rate would be.
And capital building fund won't cover
No.
rental.
But it's another thing he came, I think he understood that night that it wasn't something we put in
Right.
capital budgeting, but we still entertain an idea if we offer, because rent it from him every month, they offer it on his site. So
And then put a museum in and charge for it.
artisans or
Yeah.
you know, two nights a week of entertainment, a wet bar, I don't know. But we're not business developers that way.
Yeah.
I could see a businessman look at that site and say, wow, this thing has potential. It's on water, you know, but not us. Okay?
Just say before, a businessman does see the potential in there, and we have a disco bar on the waterfront. This might be our opportunity to lock it in, and I don't know what we do with it, and I don't know who it, but I'm just saying,
And I say, whatever.
whatever happens there, we can't say we didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we're not business owners, you know, we're not,
And we've got a facility here.
so anyway, I think Stephen deserves some type of response. Thank you, maybe he's watching tonight, I don't know. Thank you at the most, and that we would have to take this under further discussion, I believe, before we even consider something like that. Okay? We love
It's a
this
lot, it's a lot to consider.
But it's a business, it's someone who has to run out of business.
I wonder if you've talked to Jackie about it, but anyway, yeah, there's,
So that was another one.
So do you want me to send Stephen?
I think we should send him a little.
I'm just not sure what you want me to say.
Well, you and I'll talk.
Okay.
We'll read something out. The last one on here was once again about more recent shelter, a wind block, something for around the dog parks. And I can see it gets pretty hot over there, just like envision an above ground dugout at a ballpark, a baseball park, you know. Just an 8-foot bench with a pergola over the top, something that people are using. And I thought maybe not just the dog park, but also the community garden and the soccer fields, just facing, so, you know, the sun's are through here, it's facing this way, so that you gotta get in the shade, it's a spot. I think that's a good idea. That, once again, that's not a capital project, that's
oh,
an
so those
infrastructure.
would be, yeah.
You know, that's I go to Merrick and ask them how much to build a
Yeah.
few of these things for us or something, so. Anyway, those are 11 or 12 items that came up. Not many of them are really stuff that we could write up a capital investment plan for.
Yeah.
A couple are. But the thing is, as Ann alluded to, we do have quite a bit of money in there because they made a mistake many, many years ago, before my time or Ann's, and didn't carry forward a project that got canceled way back in the early 2000s or something. So all the while, for the last 20 years, we thought that money was not available. It was $81,000 and change that they didn't sweep out the books and add it to the used future. Just left it.
Okay.
Now they, oh, by the way, we made a mistake in 2000.
You now have to allocate $581,000.
Yeah, 2013, we made a mistake. Anyway, we've got quite a bit of, a nice chunk of money there right now. So keep thinking of ideas and,
I had one this morning, just on the solar panels, like, I don't know if we have another location where we can put more, and would that qualify?
sure we
Anyway.
would, because these ones did. We have more room on this very building, on this eave right here, this roof right here.
Yeah, that'd be
A
all
little
right.
section right there.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're talking about us, so maybe we open some too. Eh?
Yeah, and I guess, or Railhead Park, or I don't know, like, I'm just thinking, like,
Railhead's-
what do we have, and or could we put more to try?
Really, it's quite sheltered, with
Yeah.
tall trees on both sides, but over here.
Or the
lots of open
lagoon, like, is
space,
that our
the
land?
lagoon.
I think it's gotta be early.
Around the lagoon?
Is.
The lagoon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of open space there.
yeah.
Why would we get more solar panels to produce more energy
To offset our costs.
to our costs?
Same as those on the roof, they saved $5,000 last year.
That was my thought.
I'm just.
Yeah.
No, I'm just, I'll go.
Maybe
I
up
was
there
thinking-
wouldn't be a bad idea, something up there.
Yeah.
I've had a few people ask me about a water park, I don't know if that's the
Oh,
fall.
yeah, like a splash pad, like lawn.
Yeah, the only thing is I remember when they came to do their presentation, asking for a water park, and one of the things that I very specifically said was that in order for us to look at some of these youth projects, specifically the water park, I asked Isabella to go away and put together a youth group to come back and talk to us, and they never did.
Yeah.
So,
Something I've heard too is a skate park,
Skateboards.
skateboards, BMX
Ice
bikes.
skates.
But where are you gonna put it?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well,
we don't
there's
know.
room over there,
Off the asphalt pad.
where the asphalt is over there,
There's space for it.
there's space there.
Well, you got your basketball there, and you've got your ball hockey, and then the.
How much basketball is played there?
Well, between
Who
the,
owns a skateboard?
Well, that's the other thing too, I don't know many with
Again,
who's gonna
skateboards.
use it?
Splash pad.
It's
I'm
even like-
thinking splash pad, if I was.
Kelly the
thinking
dog.
anything, To be honest with you.
Anybody in any game.
I do, so that's right, especially with our
Additional
level funding, sourcing for that, and it's $250,000.
There must be cheaper than
Or
that.
splash
You
pad.
can get it for $250,000.
Yeah,
We'd have to have the well. That's
Well,
one thing.
It was gonna go where the community garden is, and there was a well there. But yeah, now you have to
move the community.
drill a well, I guess, I don't know, this is a
Show
show.
move the bell.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So anyway, the budget's happening, the infrastructure, budget is a big chunk of it again, I hope. And we decided, or at least talked about it seriously, that the exterior of this building being painted may be our number one idea for this coming year. And-
At least get it started one side a year.
Yes.
So we can-
Yeah,
Big job.
yeah.
So I'm gonna get quotes on that, and eavesdropping to help prevent some of the water that comes straight down into the ground and straight down and into our basement.
Mm.
Try to get it
away.
away from the darn building.
Mm.
Those are two big things for that. Sewage utility. It is our responsibility to look after Paul. And I don't want to get into a situation where all of a sudden one of your lift pumps blows up and we have no money for it. We're responsible. Not, the sewage utility is not an entity onto its own, as you know.
Mm.
So I need some inkling, some idea for budgeting purposes. Maybe Stephen McKay or Lawrence Ernest is the best guy to get, but I need to know over the next 5 years, how many more private connections do you think you might have? We got 2 this year, right?
Mhm.
Any idea what they cost each?
5,000, wasn't it? You said?
And or more?
That was kind of a ballpark number that Jerry got it out when he got his bill, but we haven't heard for
I
sure.
guess maybe that's a bad example, it's not because your own budgeting, your own accounting would consider that hookup, private hookups. But if you needed, like I say, new pump or a new generator like last year, you're coming to me, right? And we have no idea. It's like our situation with the fire department, where they were doing all kinds of stuff, but we are ultimately responsible at the end of the day. We're ultimately liable for that fire department. And now we're ultimately liable for the sewage utility. I really don't know. To me, if something blew up, I just run and hide.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
'cause I don't know anything about it,
yeah.
you know? So we need to have a bit more of a,
Well, it really should be its own personal entity, in all honesty.
yeah,
The village
I
itself.
agree, but that's not gonna happen for this budget round.
No,
But I need you guys to start thinking, and even Stephen McKay apparently said, within 3, 4, 5 years, I can't do this for you guys anymore. So we gotta start planning for,
I did mention to him at the last meeting, he said, nothing is in his mind yet for leaving. That's what he said.
well,
So
even if it isn't, I hope it
I
doesn't,
mean, we don't know that for sure, like, he could,
well, I hope it doesn't change,
yes,
but we should have some plan.
yes.
Every 5 years, we might as well plan on a new lift pump. Every 4 years, we need a new generator. I don't know where the money's gonna come from.
Yeah.
Right? 50 grand you took last year from the CIP project, from the capital building fund.
Yeah.
And apparently the generators are in the other 3 lifting plants are even older generators than the one that had to be replaced, so when are they gonna go?
Money we're trying to spend, can't we buy one and keep it in storage?
It's on the shelf? I
Yeah.
don't know, John. Some people might see that as I'd rather go to try to hand it to another grant application. We need generators, we need pumps. I don't know, John, what's the answer is, but
It's sort of like trading in a car, replacing a car every 5 years, replacing pumps every so.
What's his name? Stephen might be able to, we might have to have a meeting with them and come up with
a little plan.
a little plan.
And the big ticket item, of course, is removal of the sludge and desludging the lagoons.
Yeah.
That's gotta be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It'll be probably $1 million.
Hopefully, the government,
And then that'll be on the bottom end of it.
And Words has done a request for quotation for the study, because first we have to do the study
see what
to
the state
see
is.
what
see
it's,
how
what
it
state it is and
Yeah.
what the longevity of your lagoon is. And then their recommendation would be
I guess all I'm trying to say is I don't want to continue with the relationship that was like we had with the fire department. Not in a bad way, they just did their own thing, they did it well, but we had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never,
Still don't, nothing's
never,
changed.
never saw a budget.
Yeah.
They came to us when they needed someone to back a loan for a fire truck, which we obviously willingly agreed to, but that affects our lending power. Right? But I've never seen a fire department budget, I have no idea.
No,
Right? So we need a better relationship with the sewage utility, whether it's ultimately 2 years from now we split or whatever. Anyway, that's enough out of me.
You're done?
Yes, sir.
Your lobster trap treatments.
Is it coming up? Lobster trap treat?
Councilman Chapman.
Hang on here. Gary wasn't finished.
Where's their lobster trap treat?
I have it on your committee report.
Sorry, that just tweaked my memory. Margaret did a report up
Well,
for sewage
I'm
utility.
just going by what
Yes.
To give
your
to you
Oh, in
guys.
there, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. And then pass that to you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, one more thing and then I'll be quiet.
Thank you.
The lobster trap treat, or lack of an alternative to the lobster trap treat that we had 2 years ago. If you all remember, a couple of years ago, we were approached by a couple of residents wanting to take over responsibility for the lobster trap treat. It was in the process, in my mind, it was decrepit, it was time to bring it down, the old wooden lobster trap treat. They were gonna replace it, remove it, build a new structure for the Christmas 2023. 2023? 2023, yes.
yeah,
Never happened, nothing happened. They got a tree up this year, it looked fine, but it wasn't a permanent thing, it was a real physical living tree. It was living, it wasn't cut, it was a,
yeah.
it was a living tree, no permanent structure. In talking to them, I said, well, we're of the opinion that you guys are not fulfilling your side of the agreement. When we let you take it over, it was the intent that fall, 2023, we would have a new structure. Nothing happened.
They didn't want us to interfere.
No,
at
and they
all.
still don't.
No,
That's my point. They still, to this day, say, no, you agreed. And I said, no, you guys have not lived up to your side of the deal.
Mhm.
We want you to present to us, this council, a plan. It's gonna be built like this, it's gonna look like this, and show us a drawing, show us a picture, and we will decide whether, in my opinion, whether we want them to continue to look after that holiday tree or not.
Mhm.
Because nothing is happening.
Well, now that we don't have the pagoda down there, do we need the tree? Is it a center for anything?
It's beautiful having a tree on the water there, but I mean, it's nice. I think it would be
A lot of people went to see us.
Yeah.
Especially with the buoys on it, like, you know.
They had a lighting ceremony when.
the only thing you get into with wooden traps, it's gotta be steel traps if you're doing traps. Cause and you'd have to make it a structure, and it'd have to be, I think what Jackie was talking was, they were
steel framework.
thinking something with steel framework or something like that. So you could walk right in. Now, I don't know, I never heard any more other than that on it.
And that's why I say, let's give them, before we break for summer,
Yeah,
by June at the latest, we should have had some physical thing to look at.
Mhm.
We discuss as a group and say, yeah, fantastic. We all vote in favor, you continue to, or no. This is not gonna work, it's not, this is not what we envisioned. I just don't want them to think, as they told me, stay out of it.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
we're no, that's off the table now.
That's
You
right.
didn't do what you told us you're gonna do.
Mm.
So, anyway, I think we gotta give them, come to us with a concrete plan and something to look at.
Could that be a CCP program?
I doubt it.
The memorial at the wharf was.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I mean, since then, and I mean, that tree had to go, it was decrepit and it no longer served its purpose and it didn't honor people, it was an embarrassment, so it had to go, and that's being done. We since moved the pagoda up here, we put in the heritage garden, and I'm just wondering aloud if we need that down there at all as a priority.
Something we'll have to look at
Yeah,
too.
and you know, you're right about that. And maybe the Fisherman's Memorial is a spot to put something.
Yeah.
Not as big or fantastic, but
yeah.
something that would be in behind it there, where there's that little,
Just a little bit of space there.
there's a little stony area there between where the monument is and the bridge.
Mhm.
More people would see it, I mean,
Smaller,
everyone would see
maybe it's
it.
only something that's 10 feet high, 8 feet high, a little bit more.
Do we have that land over there as the village?
That's another question, no, it isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said it's
Well, I was
not,
just thinking we could have,
it's the current owner says you can use it, but then if he sells it tomorrow, the new owner
oh,
says,
right, because I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, we should be doing something in
yeah,
Beyond.
probably shy away from it. So, you gotta contact them, we all know who they are, I do, and I can send them a note, or should probably come from you, Ann.
I thought we had discussed this on a previous council meeting where we had already said
Yeah.
Yes,
that
you
you had
did.
spoken to them and gave them till June.
Yeah, I've talked to them again since then, the message doesn't seem to be getting through. So I think I better talk to them one more time and tell them, we need something by June, or this deal is over.
We'll take,
Mm.
take it
We'll
back.
take it from
We'll
here.
take it back.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we can cut off the power on that board and save $25 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. There's still power going there.
Yeah.
We put power there, do we?
Yeah, there's still a meter there.
So is that something I
And
should
the
be?
local historian fish shack, they're using it. He runs,
Cut the cord.
he runs music there 24/7.
So is that something I need to cancel or just leave it go?
I leave that part of it alone for now.
I figured that was the point, so.
No,
We have a little meter. It is, I think it is, you're right, John. I think it's about 25 bucks a month.
I wanted to farm this one.
Anyway, now I am done.
you're done?
Yes, thank you.
Barely.
Thank you. Yeah, so I didn't have any updates, but I did want to give people a heads up. I didn't mention this to anybody in advance, but it is my intention to bring the newsletter committee together to have a discussion about potential opportunities to look at different ways of delivering that information that might be more efficient and effective. So I'm hoping to do that as a part of our budgeting process and be able to understand, what that means for the budget or not.
So you mean to deliver the newsletter,
Or to get it online.
different format?
Yeah, or is it smaller? Is it black and white? Does it
Okay.
have advertisement because that takes 50% of the time? Or is it something
Okay.
that we want to look at funding or, anyway, just, I have a lot of different things that we could, or go to a subscription format, or anyway. I just think there's a lot of different ways we could reduce our amount of time that we're doing there. So I was gonna invite Gary and Kelly and Christine, who does the back end of that for us still, but everybody, of course, would be welcome. You can let me know if you want to attend. So I have some ideas that I just want to flesh out with other people and then take it back here for the next meeting to get everybody's
So the
input.
past newsletter,
Mhm.
what did we pay out of our pockets?
Nothing,
Thing.
No.
No,
right
what's
now,
the-
we fundraised enough
As
to
long
cover
as
that.
you get the fundraising
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
we have fundraised to cover it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last one was a bit of an anomaly, right? It was larger. quite a bit larger,
Yes,
so we
yes.
did fundraise more,
Yes.
in order to, so it did work out, but it's a lot of time that could potentially be used on more impactful, projects for the community. Yeah, and then with Project Nectar, I've reached out to Jackie. My understanding is that their February is probably around the end of their first year, and I think they were having a couple of activities in February. So I've asked her when she would be ready to kind of give us the wrap-up information and let us know what she's thinking for the next year. So I haven't heard back from her, but that's where that's at.
Councillor White,
Yeah. You got a piece of paper in front of you, that's the report that, we met one evening so that, Stephen could attend. He never attends any of our meetings, and so we needed some input from him, so, that's the report anyway.
Can I ask a question, Paul?
Yeah,
Like the last paragraph, we had contacted the municipal infrastructure fund with respect to reimbursement of the costs of opening from Main to existing lot line. So it's our utility responsibility to go from the main to the lot line, correct? For new homes?
yes,
But you're looking for this MIF, this municipal infrastructure fund to cover that, yeah?
Yeah, there's a fund through the Federation, SEM, can't remember his last name, but it's for new communities. So it's to help with expenses like putting in sewage, roads for new communities.
Yeah, extending.
So I had asked him about, we're not gonna put in a new community.
no,
So we have a house here, a house there. And he said that it was not designed for that, but they were gonna look into it.
Because historically, you covered that cost, I guess, all along.
Mm.
I hope you get it, but I'd be very surprised if they ever, I'm thinking this is for like, you've got a community here and you want to extend it out,
Yeah.
yeah,
extend the road down and
Or
all
new
the water,
communities.
sewer and sanitary with it.
Or new communities,
Yeah.
but having said that, there is not a lot of communities putting in big communities our size.
Yeah.
So it's maybe something they should have looked at.
Yeah.
And the municipal infrastructure fund, just so you guys are aware, the way that it's set up, it is not designed for large communities. It's supposed to be designed for rural communities. It's not designed for large communities like Charlottetown,
Yeah.
Summerside, that kind of thing. But what they're finding, and so they're lobbying with the ministry right now, is that they need to tweak the rules in order for it to be more applicable to smaller rural communities, which is why Ann didn't actually get a response yet, because Sen was going back to see whether or not it might actually be able to, because it's supposed to be for rural communities, and the thing of it is that very few rural communities can qualify for it.
yeah,
So they're having to go back to the drawing board and negotiate with the ministry to say, come on, guys, like, the way you set this up is not realistic because people cannot apply and qualify for it.
Murray
as it
Harbour's not
stands.
gonna put in a community of 30 residential lots.
Yeah.
And that's, but.
There are some very small communities that have been able to do that, like, there's been some new building like in Kensington. And that kind of, yeah, but there's not a lot of them.
Is that one of the ones that's 80%, 20% type thing?
No,
100% covered?
yeah,
Oh, is it?
if we get it. But don't hold you.
Yeah. I said
should
it's
we
about-
hear done?
I have a question,
Yeah.
Paul. Is there a process underway to look at increasing the rates?
There is, it has to go through IRAC.
Iraq, and we gotta be able to,
Well, the report that the accountant's done was sent to IRAC. So I don't think Margaret's heard anything back
nothing's
from
come
Sam.
back
So
from that
maybe
yet,
Margaret needs to reach out to Sam.
yeah,
Is the sewage rate just a flat rate?
Yeah.
Residents here or over on the streets, or it's all just X dollars per month type of thing?
is it more
It's-
for businesses?
Prorated, so churches are more, businesses are more. The rooming houses, when it's empty or,
But a typical detached home.
yeah, is a flat rate up to 5 people. After that, it goes up per person. So Butler's pays a flat rate year round. So whether they have all their guys upstairs or not, they pay $117.25. And a boarding house like Gary's big house by the church, he had 17 people in there, so he was paying $125 a month. And then when they all leave, it drops back down.
So what is it? What's
Some here.
More 17 people.
People in
Yes, if not more.
But he's rented it out to people now, so I
Oh,
don't know.
he's just renting it, is he?
Yeah, I don't know if they're staying just temporarily or if he's done
Okay.
with.
I heard he sold it.
Oh, really?
No, I heard that.
Yeah.
So you're done, Paul?
I'm done.
Okay. Yeah,
Me,
you're up.
okay, quick. So, last week we had our provincial EMO rep come and do a tabletop exercise with, all of our members of EMO. Went really well. It was pretty informal and I think everybody really enjoyed it. So, really appreciated that Bryce picked an incident that would be relevant to us
Yeah,
and
brothers and roads.
fire.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to do that on a yearly basis, which we're required to do. The renovations, I don't know if anybody's had a chance, but they're mostly on schedule and on time. And they're also on budget, which is really,
Richard actually took his tools home today.
yeah,
He said he's done, except for coming back to anything that we found.
exactly.
That's
So,
You looking for any project management opportunities, babe?
yeah, you know what, like, and this is just me, because I'm just so anal, like I am just stressed, like you cannot believe getting through this project.
Yeah.
Like, every time there's a problem, it's like, oh my God, oh my God. And we had one at the 11th hour, everything was almost done, and all of a sudden I got asked to pass. And I thought I was gonna have to slit my wrist.
Just say no.
I'm not, no, I like to work collaboratively with people. Anyways, we worked it out with Ida this afternoon, and she understood. I took her into the kitchen, and she saw how small the space was now, and said, this is not realistic. So the compromise is, for the ladies who play rook and that, we're going to create a coffee station for them in the small room. And that makes me feel better because from a safety perspective, regardless of whether they're passing coffee through as pass-through or walking it down the hall, that's much more riskier than them having a little coffee station right there for them when they play. So that's,
Yeah, it's just like an office, having a little coffee.
Yeah,
You got a
yeah.
little station in the corner.
So
Exactly.
will this contractor do that?
what?
The coffee station?
Oh, no, we just ordered it off Amazon.
Okay.
A little rolling one that they can put wherever they want.
Just like
Just
that?
like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been ordered and it'll be here. We're also gonna put in, we've ordered, new shelving units to go in that hallway for this, for some of the equipment that's in there. The Rook ladies have a bin, floor
Crokinole
curling, crokinole boards. So there'll be, shelves to stack all of that stuff on. It's coming in, by the end of next week, so we'll put
You need
those together.
sunglasses on going in that kitchen.
In it.
Stainless steel.
One of the things that we did discover through this, and so if you're in contact with any other committees or that, the coordination of some of the rentals was extremely difficult because of keys, which was just the bane of my existence through this. Keys that nobody had. So one of the things that I had a conversation with Ann about, and I also had a chance to have a conversation with Paul. And I'm hoping that council all agrees that if there is anything whatsoever in this building that is locked for whatever reason, and must have a copy. Because if there are any issues, she is the person that needs to be able to gain access.
You still found a lot of locked up doors and whatever?
Yeah.
Specifically, I can name one specifically, that electrical room for the stage.
Oh, yeah.
Anne had no key, they had hidden it, but they didn't remember where it was hidden. And like, it was like, this cannot happen anymore. I just can't. At least if Anne has a key, then if you need to get into an area, you know that you can go to Anne and she'll have it. So, yeah, hopefully.
Well, you did a great job, so did you. That's great.
Thank you. Finally, we got into a conversation around the disposal of village assets because I'm very conscious of that from my work in the government, and what the rules and regulations were around that, and apparently there's none. Both Ann and I reviewed the MGA, so I had a meeting with Terry to ask about it. I mean, none of them are really worth anything. There was a fridge, a stove, and the sanitizer. So one of the fridges is the one that we're now donating for the community fridge. So that was there with the picture. The stove went to somebody who requested it when we put out the notice for anybody. There was no uptake on the sanitizer. We just put it out there as best offer. So it'll probably go into the dump because nobody was interested in it. But we did do a transparent public process whereby if anybody was interested, they just had to let Ann know, and there was very little uptake. So but that's how we disposed it.
On the sign?
Yeah, it was on the
It's
sign.
on the website.
Oh, yeah, the website, yeah. So we will be disposing of anything that requires disposal. And I think that's it for me. Thanks.
Okay, the fundraising. We had a meeting last Wednesday.
Oh, yeah,
No.
I was there.
You were there. We have two new members, Pam and Caitlin, right? Caitlin?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're gonna, Pam went to town about all the supplies for the Easter egg hunt. And we talked about Canada Day and, end of summer events, so just touched on them, but our main focus now is the Easter egg hunt in April. That's all that.
And you get a new storage unit downstairs, a
Yes.
big one.
Yeah, thanks to
Built it
Rob.
under the stairs for them. So they
Okay.
have a nice big one now, and the fridge is moved
That's
in
up to
there.
that stairs, is it?
It's on the stairs from the regular chute.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So their fridge is moved in there, Rob ran the electrical, so they can plug the fridge in. There's a shelving unit in there, so everything's been put on
Great.
shelves.
Great.
So, that's all ready for them as well.
So new business. Motion for Ursula West Cameron Ellis report.
Are you on it?
New audit,
We
Is
just
that
have
same
to-
thing you did last year?
same ones.
So, you mentioned earlier today when we were talking about going in for bids, this canoe system. Why do we have to just jump on board with Arsenal West Cameron Ellis when we can't go for bids and try to get line power to the Federation of TDI municipalities?
I think for this year, it would be too late to do that because they're coming in April. And
Is that on their radar at the Federation?
They still keep talking about it, but I don't think the municipalities have jumped on board.
Yeah.
Because there's a huge commitment to stay with Canoe for a number of years. And it's like you,
this Lori had asked me to post something somewhere that were part of Canoe. And then I have to talk to her again about, okay, I don't fully understand this.
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
mind, because if I'm gonna be held to this canoe, whatever that is, I wanna go get bids for a painting. And for each chopping, I'm not gonna, not gonna go for quote on an audit, I'm not gonna get a quote on East Trough.
So this Penny was the same one that was going to do the insurances for all the municipalities, and there was great talk about it, and then. So the only thing we're doing for them right now is office supplies, so I'll reach out.
I'm just gonna go and find 3 different contractors local and get a quote for painting in East Trough.
It
I'd
sounds
do
like
some of
that's
it.
more about like, bulk buying kind of
Well, yeah,
situation.
you can
Like
get
a try to
tires
call
for
your
your
rates.
fleet, and there's preferred vendors.
Yeah.
I
Well, they're either-
almost didn't feel it was applicable to us
I don't
for
think,
a lot of stuff.
We get a fleet of vehicles, I suppose, and stuff, but,
we don't have a fleet, we,
you know, I don't,
We got Terry's tractor and that's it.
what a fleet.
a whole ancillary vehicle list.
And so we're required to audit every year.
And that was another thing, they had those every second year,
Yeah.
a mini audit or something, that's not happening either, you know, they want a full blown every year.
I got pushback from other rural municipalities when I brought it up at the meeting too.
Really?
Oh, yes.
They were against it.
They were absolutely against the idea of
2 years.
every 2 years or 3 years or whatever. And I think it has probably to do with the political climate that we are currently operating in. People are very much into CYA and they don't care what the cost is because of, I mean, we all see it, just like read the graphic.
Who else would we go to? What company are out there? Did we do any price shopping?
There's gotta be others.
There's gotta be.
Not Chrysler. There was another one, Ernst and Young, I think we were with. And that was again before my time, and they switched from them to Arsenal Best because they were a third of the cost.
Oh, yeah.
It's always good to check every few years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
on prices change. And some people will give you a discount if you're new.
Yeah.
To it.
Or if you're a repeat client, we should look at a discount. You do it, they already know what they're facing.
Yeah, and that's the one advantage of having Arsenal Best, they've done it, so.
Some efficient.
Let's ask them for a discount this year or reduce rate or 90% or just make.
Or please don't put the rate up. As everybody else.
Or a preferred customer.
Yeah.
Or if you happen to be talking to some other CAOs, it wouldn't hurt to ask them.
Yeah.
Just say like, who do you guys go with and how much does it cost you? Like, I don't think you have to call all these companies, like, I know that you talk to other CAOs, some of them
I
regularly.
believe Murray River still uses Ernst and Young, and they don't have the sewage component, and they were paying more than us.
Okay. But then that just reinforces.
Yeah.
what
But yeah, I
you
can
guys
reach
do
out
with this
to
company.
other CAOs when I'm talking to them about the drop in
Well,
rates.
ask about insurance as well, I don't know for your federation, those group
Well, all we
insurance.
talked about was the insurance. I wasn't aware of all this other stuff that you were talking about, and you probably got more of that as the CAO. But like I said, it doesn't seem like the insurance component of it hasn't advanced at all.
No.
Like, we had this huge presentation and everything, and then nothing.
Because those are big ticket items for us, our audit, our insurance, and all, big money there to you.
So if everybody's okay with our
Yeah.
service, Cameron and others, I need to move for shit. And vote.
I'll move that we use there's no this Cameron now is.
Second.
All in favor?
John?
I'm certainly not going to do, can we put it on next year for shopping around?
Yes,
For a price,
yeah.
but it's pretty close
Yeah,
now.
I agree with that.
So are you for or against?
Going for
For. Thank you. Just want to make sure I get the numbers right.
Maybe they'd like to sponsor the new sanitizer in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're the insurance company.
We're gonna talk about asking the local companies about sponsoring some of our equipment. We
Yeah.
did at one other meeting.
We did, and it never got around to coming to fruition.
All right, use of money donated in memory of Faye Fraser.
So a lovely envelope of money appeared on my desk. So.
And it was made. Sorry, I didn't borrow up with that.
So I wasn't sure what it was for. So Paul explained that in Faye Fraser's obituary, she requested money be donated to the village. So that's lovely, and it's $1,485. So then council should really decide what's to happen with this money.
Actually, it was donated to the community center.
To the community center, yes. So then what?
That's interesting, because my first thought was like, oh, a bench, and they could put like a plaque on it or
Yeah.
whatever, but that would be outside.
That's the
There's-
community center.
There is another thing we were looking at, was the curtains, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we were thinking of like what is in the large room, once they go back up, there was a picture, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, I think it was Lynn, was heavily involved in.
Patsy.
No, Patsy is here.
Yes.
She's going back up, but, we have the girls for Special Olympics, and we have the lady that was
Oh,
involved
Lynn's
in,
George.
with,
Yes.
yeah, Special Olympics.
Mm.
So doing something like that for Faye with part of the money. And then one of the things that in the renovation, we have to pay 25% of is the blinds for the large room and the stage curtains. And our portion of those two is about $2,100. So if some of that money from Faye was used to that, you could also put up a little plaque or in Faye's plaque mention that the theater curtains and the blinds were purchased with money. But that was just one idea.
Well, any of those sounds okay to me.
Yeah.
There's things we need, whether it's fire curtains or stage curtains or new chairs,
Yeah.
Those I'm this close, just so you know.
Well, I
Getting them
I want
for,
you that close.
I'm trying. My hope is to get them
I want to sit in this close on.
for free.
You're getting chair?
I'm hoping,
No.
I'm working on it.
If it's to be a memorial to Faye Fraser, and I'm right up there with everyone in this room for a respect for Faye Fraser. If it's to be a memorial, I would go with Maureen's suggestion with a permanent plaque on the bench, because curtains will deteriorate and fade away.
Yeah.
But we already have Faye Fraser Drive, it's not as if her name is not being honored.
And there was no direction, like it didn't say it had to be in.
No.
No, it could have gone right into the.
Yeah.
The.
That was just
Memorial,
power.
Just
Go
a
with the bench.
suggestion, yeah.
And has anyone discussed it with any members of the family?
Have you, Pam?
I have not. You know Pam pretty well. Any ideas what they would?
Jock and Lisa will be home on the 3rd of April. I don't know.
Sorry?
Jock and Lisa will be home on the 3rd of
Yeah.
April. I don't know
Well, I
what
can
else
give
is
them,
around.
I can message you tonight, because I have been talking to them a bit.
Yeah.
So,
I certainly support the idea of like a plaque, something similar to what we had for Melissa and Lynn.
You know, I just wouldn't want it to disappear into the operating budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah. And then curtains, like stage curtains feel appropriate.
Yeah, stage curtains.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Only if you decided what you're going to do with it. So if Terry's gonna talk to Jock and Lisa, we can put it
I
in.
think I'll talk to Jock, I'll get ahold of you
We'll
and
put
see
it
what,
back under
what he wants
business
to do
for
with it.
previous next month.
And the last one is confidentiality of council meetings. Mayor, what-
Remember we talked about this?
over. Okay, yeah.
On Facebook or something, was it?
What? No,
No, it was just
No.
a gentle reminder.
it's just a reminder that everybody should, you know, when you leave a meeting, you can't be talking about things and to other people outside, like, you know, unless they're at the meeting or they've watched it, it's a privacy thing and.
A decision has been made, like if it's just
Yeah.
a discussion.
Things change too from that, you
Quite
know,
often.
and that kind of
Yeah.
is bad.
Mr. Mayor, is there a point I'm missing here because we are being broadcast
Yeah,
and people do
it's like
watch?
it's public, so is there certain, is it like this private discussions outside of these public meetings that we're talking?
Well, like,
Just when things are in discussion here.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been made a decision.
Yeah.
It's still in discussion.
Yeah.
So to go and talk to people, oh, we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that.
Right.
And making it sound like a decision is already made.
Okay.
That's what you need to be careful of.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, it's being.
But there's nothing wrong with us reiterating what you said here.
No,
Like,
No.
I went to, what was this in the morning time, so we're discussing
Yeah.
what to do with.
Yeah,
Pretty phrase in the
exactly,
morning.
but it's in
Something like
discussion. It's,
No.
I'm amazed at how many people watch.
yeah,
so,
There is.
There are discussions in the village
Yeah,
already.
Okay,
And
so
I-
just
Oh,
be
yeah.
mindful to not
Well,
convey a decision.
yeah,
yeah,
When something
until it's,
hasn't actually
until it's
been
etched in stone, you know.
And I think the other part of it is too, that's important, is that if there is an email that is circulated between councilors, it's just between
Yeah.
councilors, and it is expected to be confidential and remain confidential.
Yeah.
It's not to be shared outside the group of councilors.
Right.
Yeah.
But
That
just-
makes sense.
just keep in mind that every email, messenger, message, whatever, could end up on anybody's desk, anywhere in the world.
Subject
That's
to
it.
point.
So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind when
Yeah.
you're talking about anything except the score of the hockey game. Really, it's just, you gotta be careful.
Tell me later if there's been a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell me later if there's been a problem.
no, it was just, general, at the administrator meeting that I was at.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you know, just a gentle reminder to council, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can gossip.
yeah.
I agree.
All right, so do we want to adjourn this meeting?
You can do.
No, we do.
John, no, that's that.
All set.
I bet you it's unanimous.
Yeah, sure it is. I think so,
All right.
we'll stay.
Where's George and Ringo?
What?
Got John and Paul, where's George and
Yeah,
Ringo?
here, you got some stuff for me to sign?
No, I have to redo them, so.
Okay, I gotta go back. I'm not gonna ask you
What,
that.
the order you're doing?
So are you just going to take the? Yeah, changing it out. No, I know, yeah.